Hey everyone, for today's Foundation Friday First Impressions, we are testing out from Lancome the Teint Idole 24-Hour Makeup. Hey guys, welcome back. I am Shelly, and if you didn't know, I also have a second channel with a girlfriend of mine called Shelly and Jade, and over on that channel, we had gone to the Lancome counter and we had tested out the custom foundation, you know, the one where they perfectly match it to your skin. And unfortunately, that didn't work out for me. But luckily, I did get through Influencer. And if you haven't ever heard of that or signed up, it's basically where you can go on and take quizzes and fill out, you know, questions. And sometimes if you're chosen and selected by different companies, they will send you out a box of products to try or review. So I was one of the ones lucky enough to get a box from Lancome, and in it I got this foundation, which is the Teint Idole. I don't know how to say that. Teint Idole. Sorry if I'm butchering it for all of you out there. I think I'm saying it right, but I'm probably not. So this is their reformulated Teint Idole 24-Hour Makeup. And I believe that this comes in like 44 shades. And I don't think any of the foundations that I have done on any Foundation Friday have had as many options as they do. And I know that you can get it in like a warm or a neutral type base, which is amazing. So they have the different undertones and a wide range of colors, so hopefully everyone should be able to find theirs. So this foundation right here, it does come in a glass bottle, and of course it has the customary Lancome rose on top with a dark lid, and it does have a black pump top, which is nice. And in this guy you are going to get, I believe it's 1 ounce. The shade that I was sent is the 230 Buff in warm undertone, so it could be a little dark, but you know, it is what it is. And I did get this one for free for reviewing purposes, so I can't complain about that too much. So if it's too dark, I'll just have to make it work later in the summer when I'm darker. Let's go ahead and get started. You know the drill. 1/2 of my face with a beauty blender, the other half with a brush, and I will let you know my thoughts on which one I think is a better method of applying foundation. Yeah, I'm afraid it's going to be a little dark. Okay, bear with me, people. So I would say this is probably a pretty full coverage and I would say a little bit goes a long way. I didn't put a lot on the back of my hand, 1 pump, and basically, I mean, I've covered this entire half of my face with the brush side, and I don't know if it's my primer underneath because I was very like dewy and luminous with it, but I mean, it has more of like a natural but luminous at the same time finish, so it's actually a really pretty finish. I still see some of like the freckles and everything coming through, but overall, like, it's not bunching up terribly around my nose, which is usually, of course, the best indicator of checking out a foundation. And I'll say that like it looks pretty good with the brush on. I do realize it is a little bit dark for me. I was guessing on the color from the online. So I will say that this foundation does feel a little heavier on the skin, and I feel if you went in with a couple of layers, it might start to look a little bit cakey, but overall so far, like, I think it looks pretty nice. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the Beauty Blender side. Right here in the pore area by my nose, like, it looks a bit more natural with the Beauty Blender than the brush. It's pretty darn close though, but if I had to choose a winner, I would say best applied with the Beauty Blender, but you're gonna have to go in with more layers on the Beauty Blender side because the blender does soak it up more, and it doesn't seem to, it does shear it out a little bit more. So if you want the same type of coverage that you got on the brush side, you would need to probably Beauty Blender a couple layers in. Okay, so overall, I actually do like this foundation. You know, a few drawbacks are going to be that it does feel like I'm wearing foundation. It's not like super light and airy like you get with some. So you definitely kind of feel it as it's on the skin. And another thing, I mean, it's not really a con, but just because I didn't exactly get my exact shade, so that is a con for me. But I think a pro is that there are so many colors and undertones to choose from. So I love that about this foundation. I believe, like I said, 44 shades, which is amazing. I don't see that many makeup companies doing that, so I give huge kudos to them for being able to pull that off. I do think, yes, a little bit better with the blender, a little more natural, but beautiful either way. I would say, you know, higher medium to full coverage, absolutely. And it does let your skin breathe, but it is, like I said, it feels like you're wearing foundation. So I don't know about longevity, 25 hours. I don't know anyone who's wearing their makeup for over 24 hours, but I think, you know, it does make me hopeful that it's going to be able to last all day through heat, through humidity, through any activities that I'm doing, that sounds like a dream. So I think if I'd gotten, you know, a shade lighter, that would be great. I don't know that this is the exact shade for me. In fact, I know it's not. But I do really like, as I'm looking on my nose, which is always the worst spot. Like, I do not see a whole bunch of like holding on to the dry skin here. It's pretty flat around my nose, which is amazing. So I do have to give it props for that. I think it's pretty impressive because that usually is never the case. And I have to say, overall, pretty much 2 thumbs up on this. I believe that this foundation is somewhere in like the $45 range. You know, I will verify that, then I will put it up on the screen. So it's not a super inexpensive foundation, but I do think that this checks a lot of the boxes, maybe for a lot of people. So it is one that I think is definitely worth your time in checking out. As always, I hope you guys are doing so awesome. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you next week for another Foundation Friday First Impressions. Have a good day, guys. Bye!